Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting session brought to you by futurecareer.net. Our company is dedicated to helping professionals like you land jobs in the US or Canada, inspired by the founder's own journey and challenges in securing his dream job. That's me. Today, we have an incredible opportunity to learn from Nermeen Masoud, an investment manager at Square Yards, Canada, with over 16 years of experience in retail banking and real estate. Based in Toronto, Nermeen is dedicated to helping clients achieve their dream home purchases and investment goals. In this session, titled Financial Literacy in Canada and How to Benefit from the System, Nermeen will guide us through the basics of financial literacy, explaining the Canadian financial system and resources available, and sharing strategies for effectively managing personal finances. She will also explore how to take advantage of financial opportunities and benefits within the Canadian system. We have a lot to cover in the 30-minute session. This session and upcoming ones will be recorded and uploaded on YouTube and our community for everyone to benefit from. Toward the end, we'll take a group selfie to promote this community. So we hope to see you join us for that. Thank you, and let's get started. Nermeen, the floor is yours.
Hi, Ahmed. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today in your podcast. It is an absolute pleasure, and I'm thrilled to be able to be with you guys today and talk about the basic of financial literacy. I hope that today's podcast will add value to the people who are watching and the people who are going to be viewing this podcast in the future. So thanks for having me today. My name is Nermeen. I am a little bit about myself before I start. So I immigrated to Canada in the late 80s. I came here when I was very young. Sorry, I'm going to speak English. So back in the late 80s, I attended a
Sorry, Nermeen, I think you muted. Sorry, my mistake. Can you unmute again? Sorry. Yes, sorry. Now you're good.
Okay, very good. So I came to Canada very early on. I was young, went to elementary school, high school, finished my post-secondary education, and I was lucky enough to be able to join one of the big financial banks in Canada, one of the big 5 banks. I started there as a casual teller. And back then, the reason they hired me as a casual teller, they didn't really promise me a job. Rather, we're going to try you out and see what you can do. And from there, thankfully, I was able to, I must say, I really liked the job. Like when I entered as a teller, I thought, wow, the financial world is huge. There's just so much to learn and so much you can add value to my own life, obviously, and to my clients as well. So I pursued that career. And I pretty much did everything in retail banking. I went from a customer service rep to a teller supervisor. Then I did a personal banking officer position. Ahmed, are we still on?
Yes.
Very good. Personal banker. Then I got promoted to senior personal banker. Then I did financial advisor, senior financial advisor, wealth management. You know, the list goes on. And the last job I had at the bank, I was a former branch manager in downtown location, and that was in 2019. So what I've done is I allow myself that career path, and I have reached my target. My target is to be a branch manager, and I did this for almost 2.5 years before I decided to take a career shift. So 2019, I was licensed as a real estate agent, and I've been practicing real estate since. But in the past, actually would be a year anniversary for me this month, I was very privileged to join Square Yard Real Estate, where they recruited me to become their investment portfolio manager. So it is real estate. I deal exclusively with pre-construction project, and I deal exclusively with investors. So investors that are looking for cash flow positive condos, they come to me, and my job is to negotiate with the builder directly to get the best value for my client today. On the side, obviously, I do resale as well, but banking has been in my heart and it's what I know most. And I'm always thrilled to talk about banking or to get a question about banking. So I'm really happy to be here today to provide that insight for you guys.
Thank you, Nermeen.
Now, today we want to talk about the basic financial literacy. So it is really the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills to do two things, to budget and to invest. So before I start, let's just stop here for a minute and let's think of the general public. So most of us work, so we earn and we spend, right? But the financial does not end there. Because if we earn and spend, we are not going to move forward anytime soon or in the future. Time goes by. And then as we grow older in life, you may be, perhaps I cannot work as much. I need to be able to start being financially savvy today from the very first time I earn money. So there are 4 pillars to the financial pyramid. I call it a pyramid because, you know, with the pyramid, you have your foundation. Your foundation is your saving, your investment, your real estate that you built equity in. And from there, your pillar goes up. So 4 pillar would be, the most important one would be budget. What is a budget? So a budget is something that allow me to know my inflows and outflows. So I make an X amount of money every year. With a budget, I know that every month I have these expenses. I have the income coming in, the outflow, my rent, my car insurance, my kids, activities, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, that budget needs to allow me to have a small or medium or large surplus, something that is being left on the side after I do my inflows and outflows. So budget is very important because without a budget, your spending habits, most likely you will spend more than what you earn. And unfortunately, if you're doing that, you're not alone. There is, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people are living above their means today, and they are drowning in debt. So budget is the most important thing that I would encourage everybody to have. Now, how are we going to do budget? It's very simple. We can book an appointment with your financial advisor and just tell them that I'd like for you to work with me a budget. Ultimately, I need to be able to save money out of my income. Or there is a lot of tools online that you're able to pretty much fill in the inflows and outflows. Now, the second thing to budget would be debt. So we spoke that if we don't have a budget, there is a likelihood of me spending more than what I earn. And when I tell you guys, it is very easy to build up debt because when we use that credit card to make that purchase, we gotta be very careful that this purchase is one of the two things. Either it's gonna be a need or a want. So if it's a need, then it is part of my budget. I know that I will be putting my grocery, my weekly grocery, my gas bill in my Visa. And I know that when I'm going to get paid, I am going to pay that Visa in full. I am not going to carry on a balance. So if it's a want, then I can tell you from experience, the wants are the people that I want this fancy dress, I want to go for vacation like my cousin did, I want to upgrade my car, I want. That want will very quickly drown you in debt. And once you are in debt, and what I mean by that is it could be a very small debt. It could be $8,000 to a credit card. There is a lot of interest you're paying that. And as that debt go larger, your monthly obligation toward it become larger. So it takes away from your outflow that you have created for your budget. Also saving and investing. So the only way we can save and invest if we have the budget already in place, if I can control my debts, and if I can carve some money on the side to put automatically in my savings. So this is what I would do with my clients when they come in. I would spends about 25 minutes to know the inflows and outflows. And I dealt with different level of clients' income, right? So the client that has moderate to high income, it was very easy for me once I complete that budget to be able to find that $500 a month or $200 every 2 weeks from their pay. And we agree, right? We will agree to say, every time you're going to get paid bi-weekly direct deposit, I am in control because the bank account within my premises. So what I do is I create a plan. I create a financial plan for my clients once I know what their goals are, because in life, we all have goals. Ahmed can tell me, Nermeen, my first goal, I want to be in Jamaica in the next 3 years. And I do have minimum income, but I need that financial dream to come true. So based on your financial need goal, I create a plan for you. So if your financial need or your very first goal is to go to Jamaica in 3 years, and that trip is going to cost $5,000, I'll make sure that I do a strategy in place where I can go in. I'm not going to wait for Ahmed to have his payroll go in. No. I know Ahmed is going to get paid every second Thursday. So the day Ahmed gets his pay, I will go in. Not I, the system automatically will do that once I set it up. The system will automatically go on the midnight that Ahmed gets his pay and take that $200 that we agreed on to put it toward a saving vehicle to achieve that goal. By doing that, guys, you will be amazed at the power of compounding. And when time, like in a heartbeat, a year goes by, you look at that saving account and you're like, wow, I already have $6,000 in the saving account. How did I do this? So, planning and having financial goal is very, very important. And having that plan and financial goal help us to save and invest. We invest. I always say to my client, there's 3 very important things about investing: that we invest regularly, we stay invested, and we don't try to utilize that investment unless it is to be used for something that will create wealth, such as buying real estate, such as buying gold certificates, things like that to help you build your real estate wealth. Any questions, guys? You can ask me before we move on.
Awesome. This is really great. Wisdom. It's very organized on how you laid it down from the budget and also the investment and those 2 types of gold and real estate.
Thank you.
No questions.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, just no questions so far.
Okay, no questions so far. So a little bit about the financial system in Canada. So the financial system in Canada, it's actually one of the most accessible and reliable system in the world. And I'm sure some of our audience are joining us from different countries. If I want to transfer money today from my account here, and I do have an account in Egypt, if I want to transfer this from here to my account in Egypt, it's very simple. There is multiple methods in which I can transfer my money from here to Egypt, to Japan, to Italy. I don't see any complication. Other countries, and I'm not going to obviously mention name, but other countries, it's very difficult. Like when I have an account and I have my passport and I just don't happen to have my phone number that I use to open my account with, why I'm not able to transfer my own money back to Canada or, out of, I find it a little bit difficult. But in Canada, it is the most reliable and accessible in the world. And there's 5 governments that oversee the Canadian financial system in Canada. Number 1 and the most important thing is Bank of Canada. So Bank of Canada is the one that pretty much control the financial sectors, and they are the one who determine what would be the interest rates. And they do come with an announcement pretty much. There is change in the Bank of Canada. So in the past 4 years, we've seen the Bank of Canada almost announcing rate increase maybe once every 2 months, 4 years of increased rates, which negatively impacted a lot of Canadian households because of their mortgage rates has gone up significantly. And Bank of Canada is the one that determined the qualifying rate for mortgage approval, the revolving line of credits. So they are the one in control of doing that. And the next announcement, last announcements of Bank of Canada was last month. Finally, after 4 years of having the rates increase, they finally reduced the rate by 0.25%. And we're waiting for another announcement this month. So we'll keep our finger crossed to see if the rate is going to go further lower. So Bank of Canada will be number one. Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institution, and that oversee the banks. So it's a higher level than the bank. So if anyone has an obstacle or an issue with the bank for whatever reason, you know, my money wasn't transferred or my mortgage interest rate is miscalculated, there is always a chain of command. So when an issue arises, you come to the branch, you speak to the advisor. If the advisor is not able to resolve your issue, you speak to the management level, could be an assistant branch manager or the branch manager. And if those two levels of management are unable to resolve your complaint or did resolve your complaint, but not to your satisfaction, then you'll go to the office of the president. Each and every one of the 5 big banks have an office of the president, contact number. And by the way, anytime you open any accounts in any banks, you will be given either a pamphlet in hand or an electronic email showing you the process of how to handle a complaint should one arise. So you go to the office of the president and still you're not satisfied with the answer that he provided you. Then this is when the office of the Superintendent of Financial Institution get involved. And I'll tell you guys, when this office get involved, it is, you do not want these people ever coming to your branch. Let's put it that way, okay? So we try within the branch level to resolve all this complaint. Now, the third thing would be your Canada Deposit Insurance. So Canada Deposit Insurance is very important because CDIC is really what guarantee my money in the bank. So CDIC covers your deposit up to $100,000. Should anything happen to the financial sector, I doubt that very, very much, but you are covered up to $100,000 under CDIC. That topic alone, I can talk for 60 minutes because, you know, people can tell me, oh, I have $1 million, so is it only 100,000? So there's a lot more. And if you sit with a wealth management advisor, they should be able to walk you and protect your money, even if you have $1 million in your account. Okay. The fourth one would be the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, and that pretty much foresee all the above that I mentioned. And obviously the last person would be the Minister of Finance. We all see him speaking before the Bank of Canada, during the Bank of Canada, or announcing the Bank of Canada rate. And those are the 5 governments that oversee the Canadian financial system.
Wow, that was very impressive. Thank you for listing all those down, Nermeen.
My pleasure. I'm not sure what's the next question on the agenda, if you can ask it.
Sure. So what are the main financial institutions in Canada? I think we covered that. What financial products and services are available to Canadians?
Okay, so I'm just going to go back a little bit to the 5 banks. So we know that they are, like most of us know, it's TD Bank, Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal, Royal Bank of Canada, as well as Bank of Montreal, as well as TD Bank. Did I mention that? So those are the 5 big banks. But under this, there are other places where we can do banking. It's not just the 5 big banks. So there are things like credit unions, multiple credit unions out there. Some of them are exclusively private to their members, such as, you know, firefighters, police officers. Other credit union is open to public. There's also other banks, such as Tangerine Bank, that's online, President Choice Bank, that's online. Something you guys should explore, because I really think, in my opinion, when you go to the 5 big banks, you're paying a lot of service charges on your day-to-day account. And that's something that's very important, because I have witnessed clients who are in a basic account. What I mean by basic account is there is multiple different accounts you can pick and choose from. That basic account allow, let's say, 6 transactions per month. And you by the end of the month did like 30 transactions. You'll see like 80, 90, $100 service charge in these accounts. So very careful the account you pick and choose, understand how it works, how many transactions is allowed. And that's why I like the Tangerine and the President Choice, because there is no service charges. So those account for me, even though I've transacted with one bank all my life, still is. All my mortgages, my investment, tax-free, mutual funds, everything stay within the same bank. But my day-to-day spending has been recently from Tangerine, because I wanna be able to. Tangerine doesn't charge me service charge. I wanna tap my card for $2 coffee, or I don't like to carry cash, and I also do not want to stress like, oh my God, did I exceed my 6th transaction? Am I gonna have to pay now $1.50 per extra transaction? So that Tangerine card allow me to do my daily baby spending, whereas everything else is in the major bank. So credit union, guys, is available. Everything now, the best thing is everything online. Just type in nearest credit union to my home, and read about their service charges. And also after credit union, so we talked about the 5 banks, the credit unions. Then the last one would be a company that provide lending, like credit cards, MasterCard, as well as mortgages. So for those of people that think, and I am sharing with you guys the question that came to me through my group, because I don't know if those of you, the audience, know that I do have a Facebook group in which I provide financial solution as well as real estate solution, and this is just free of charge. So I don't take any fees. This is just giving back to my community and just trying to help them understand what I already know. So from that group, I've been asked these questions, a lot of questions. Nermeen, I'm just about to get my mortgage. And obviously I get involved because I'm most of the time their agent. I am with TD. TD is giving me 8% interest rate, 7% interest rate. Guys, there is more than the 5 big banks. There is another 120 lender that is able to give you a mortgage that is a lot less than the branch would give you. And when I tell you a lot less, like if we talk about difference of 10 basis points, like let's say TD giving me 6, and that private lender is not private lender, let's say, I don't know, Manulife is giving me 5.9. So that 10 basis point in 800,000, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in saving in the 25-year term. So when it comes to your mortgages, yeah, go to a broker. They should be able to give you the best rate out there. So that would be the third one: banks, credit union, and loan companies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nermeen. And we're like 6 minutes to the 30 minutes, so we can maybe take one or more questions, 1 or 2 more questions, and then open it for Q&A for folks who want to ask you some questions. So what are the benefits of having a good credit score, and how can one maintain or improve it?
Well, if you have a good credit score, congratulations, because you are, there's only about 30% of Canadian that has above 700 credit score. So if you're able to do this, I applaud you. Not a lot of people today have good credit score. Now, how to improve your credit score? But before I speak about how to improve your credit score, I wanted just to spend a little bit of time about your credit score. So your credit score could be up to 900. That's a numeric number. So if you reach 900, that's mean you're amazing. Okay, very few people that reach that, and then it's also alpha, A, B, C, and D. So A considered to be the best, anywhere from 850 to 900, B and C and so forth until below 600. So tips on improving your credit score. Number 1, if you have more than one credit card with you, and most of us do, and I do recommend that, and I'm just going to say why I recommend it and go back to how to improve your credit score. I always recommend to have more than one credit card, simply because if you lose one credit card and you're stuck, you need to book a vacation or you need to put something urgency online, you're going to have to wait 7 to 10 days to get that replacement. So always have minimum 2 credit cards, no more than 2. I think 2 is plenty. 2 is enough to build an excellent credit. To build that excellent credit, you would do this. I will use myself as an example now. So when I worked in the bank, obviously all my credit card were free, like I don't pay any annual fee. So I got like the best credit card, the gold, the infinite, all the fancy one that give me all these perks and privileges. So I had about 3. That's all I had, although I only needed 2. But again, I mean, this is what I had. This is what I would do. Every month, I would use 1 credit card only. So I would make sure that this month I'm using my Visa for all my transactions. When the due date comes, I'll pay that balance in full. Now, stuff I put in my Visa are day-to-day stuff. Could be my grocery, my gas, my my phone bill, like, you know, my normal inflows. The most important thing is, 1, I do not utilize more than 60% of the limit of the Visa. So if my Visa limit is 10,000, I should not go above 6,000. Even if I want to decide to buy a TV and I know when I go home, I'm going to transfer it from my savings the same day. Do not do that. Try not to go over 60% utilization. That's number 1 tip. Number 2 is try to make your payment not on due date, but preferably 2 to 3 days before due date. And I want to stop there just for 1 minute. When a client comes to me, especially a brand new client who have never owned a Visa or new immigrant, don't know how this Visa works, obviously I have a due diligence to ensure that I explain the importance of that Visa card, how you should use it, when you should make the payment, how to utilize it, and so forth. So I tell that newcomer, as well as all the audience, it's a very, very good idea for you to make sure that your Visa is set up for an automatic minimum payment from your bank account in the event you failed or forgot to make the payment. So the system is very smart. If I add in the system, say, I want Ahmed Visa to be, I want to debit his account to ensure his minimum payment is made before the due date, the system is very smart. The system will only make that debit from Ahmed account in the event Ahmed forgot to make the payment. But if the system see the payment has been applied, it's not going to debit anything from Ahmed account. So that is really a level of protection that I can tell you guys, it helped tons of Canadians to protect their credit rating, simply because I could be in a car accident in the hospital for 2 to 3 months, recovered fully, and I come out of the hospital and my credit is all over the place. I've missed repayments, delinquency, my interest rate jump. But at least if I have that automatic system, I know that if I use 1,000 of my Visa, $20 will be the minimum payment. I think I should have $20. And if I don't have $20, I'll make sure I have overdraft to cover that in case I'm not able to make it. So making your minimum payment on 3 days before the date, it's very good. And also, if you are the one making the minimum payment, preferably you're going to make it in full. And if you cannot make it in full, then do not make just the minimum. So if the minimum is 50, I'm going to make 120. So make it above. If you use these 3 strategies, and also revolving cards. So I'm using my Visa this month, I paid in full. Next month, I'm going to use my American Express for the entire month. I'll pay it in full. The 3rd month, I'll use my MasterCard. I'll pay it in full. And then I keep rotating my cards. Nothing wrong of spending, using 2 cards. But as a banker, I'm telling you guys, it's overwhelming. Like, I don't want to be sitting in the month like, oh my God, did I forget my MasterCard? So just 1 card make life simple. I know my spending. I can go online to see, have I exceeded my budget, guys, for the month? Because once I see that I've done exceed the budget, I stop spending. Otherwise, I'm going to carry that, which I don't have income to pay it out. Or if I do pay it out, it's going to take away from my saving. And that's how you build your credit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nermeen. This was a great wisdom. And again, lots of great tips, 60% utilization, 2-3 days before due date, and other insights to keep the score in a healthy situation. And definitely that would affect any other services that we need with the financial system if our credit score is not in the right state.
I also want to add, thank you, Ahmed, for saying that. Credit, guys, in Canada is everything. And when we are new to Canada, so as a new immigrant, the system the banks will allow you to open a day-to-day banking, to get a credit card, even without having credit history. That is huge bonus, because I can tell you, Canadian people who are born here can run through hoops and not able to get $1,000 credit card because they ruin their credit rating. New immigrants, it's a brand new opportunity. You come to the bank without having any credit history, without having any income. They will give you a credit card under Welcome to Canada program. This credit card is, I always say, it's your golden egg. If you use it wisely, from there, as you grow and spend time in Canada and have established better income, you can do anything. You can buy home, car. Like, it is very sad that people that don't have good credit score, and again, I speak from experience. When people reach out to me and say, Nermeen, we want to rent, they work very good jobs. They make 200,000 income a year. So that tells you right away their inflows and outflows and budget is out of whack, because they should be owning something. And meanwhile, I still cannot give them a rental. Why? Because they have terrible credit. So, you have income without credit, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You have credit, you'll build the income, you'll have everything.
100%. Thank you, Nermeen. I know that we're on time, so maybe we'll take the group selfie if everybody is comfortable being in camera, and then we'll open up for Q&A if anyone have questions to ask Nermeen specifically about their journey. So if you're okay to be in camera and just, for the selfie, we'll post this on social media for everybody to join this community in future. And that's the time to be in camera. So I'll give it another few seconds here. And then I'll say 1, 2, 3, and then a smile. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and smile. Okay, hold on, sorry, didn't take it. One more. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nermeen, and thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And again, this is amazing session. Nermeen, I know that financial literacy we may need like hours and hours and not only 30 minutes, but we'll open up for Q&A here. And if anyone wants to ask Nermeen specific question, please go ahead.
Don't be shy, everybody. You can ask me that question that's been sitting in your heart.
Go ahead, Ramzi. And I think you're mute, if you can unmute. Okay, you're having trouble with the audio. Do you want to write it down in the chat? I can read it. Okay. Anyone else until Ramzi maybe hears his question? So what are the issues, guys, that you're lacking maybe? This is a question for you. What kind of, let's say, information or thing that you think you need to be more informative related to financials here? Is there anything that comes to your mind? For example, the mortgage rates, like when is the time to get a mortgage? When is not a good time for a mortgage? What would be the right time? I think this is maybe a question that everybody's asking you, Nermeen, nowadays, right?
Shall I go fix? Shall I go close? Shall I sell now? Yeah, this is a big topic in the market. Yes.
Yeah. What do you want to spend 2 minutes about this question, maybe, Nermeen?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's happening? I mean, what's going on with the rates, and where do we stand today? Well, just like I said earlier in the video, the Bank of Canada had for literally past 4 years had just did nothing but increase the interest rates. And that was unexpected, because we have seen back in 2021, 2022, we have seen like houses have been sold in the market in 3 hours. And those houses, I was involved in some of them. You would you would put an offer down, and then I speak to the agent, and the agent already have 40 offers in less than 3 hours. Why? Because at that time the interest rate was very low. We're looking at the variable rate was as low as 1.3%. So when you get a mortgage, like client got very comfortable. Oh, Nermeen, I can afford this. $1 million house, not a problem. At 1.3, my mortgage is $2,800. Easy peasy. I can do this. And lots of people end up purchasing these large properties. Then the rate all of a sudden went from a 1.3% today. I'm going to talk about today. It went as high 6%, if not higher. So you're now faced with 4 or 5 times the mortgage payments that you have done a budget based on $2,800 a month. So now you either have to sell the property, or unfortunately the bank will have to foreclose the house and sell the property to get the money back. So there's been a lot of math happening. What's happening with the rate today? Well, today the 5 big banks, and again, I've been part of that conference where I attended, where the 5 big banks spoke about that the interest rate in 2024, by December of 2024, we're going to see approximately 1 full percent decline on the prime rate. So it's been a big subject, big noise the entire Jan to June, but then comes June, which is last month. Everybody now eager, waiting for the Bank of Canada, including myself, because I am in variable rate. I want to know, is my mortgage payment going to go higher, or what's going to happen? They actually reduce it by 25 basis points. So that is definitely an indication that the 5 big banks forecast is correct. Experts are saying that the rate will continue to go down by a 1/4 basis point cut by the end of this year to 1 full percent. But they are also saying the best time for interest rates to drop would be mid-2024. So, mid-2025, which is a year from today. And hopefully we do see the interest rate cut happening, because Ahmed, there is 70% of Canadians have their mortgage coming up for renewal this year, myself included. Mine's coming up in October. So 70% of us is going to be faced with triple the monthly obligation payment, if not more. And let's face it, an average household barely make an income and barely make living. So when you are surprised with few $1,000s extra for your mortgage payment, it can be very difficult. So we're going to see the interest rate going down by end of next year, and that hopefully allow more buyer in the markets, because another disadvantage today with the buyer is they are buyers. So when people ask me, oh, there is no buyers in the market. No, there are tons of buyers. The only obstacle we have today with the buyer, when my client called me and said, Nermeen, I want to buy a house in Milton, I'm like, the first thing is I get them pre-approved. And you'll be amazed, Ahmed, because the approval rate today for a mortgage, it's prime +2, very high. So unless you make like a couple $100,000 of income, you cannot buy that $700,000-800,000 property. So once the rate goes down, I foresee that the qualification rate will also go down, which will allow for a much higher approval limit with the same income we earn today.
Awesome. This was great information for the question that everybody's thinking about. And thank you so much for making it easy for us to understand how this works. Guys, if you have any follow-up on this question, please go ahead. I shared your contact details here, Nermeen, just for everybody who wants to connect with you afterwards. And I think Ramsey have a question here. What is the best way to upgrade the low credit score?
Actually, that was not my question. But...
Oh, sorry. Actually, Jamil, sorry. Sorry, Ramsey. Do you have another question?
So
I was gonna just ask Nermeen for her, how we can get in touch with her, but you've already supplied that information. I'll reach out to her afterwards. Thank you.
Okay.
And I want to say thank you very much, Nermeen, for the information. I actually have to drop for another meeting, but I appreciate the information, and I'll reach out. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. Ahmed.
Yes. So the question again is what is the best way to upgrade the low credit score?
Okay, I just need to know a little bit more. Why do we have a low credit score? Is it because overutilization, or meaning you max your credit cards? Or is it because you missed payments? Or is it because maybe you have garnishment on file? So can I just know the reason of why this credit score is low?
Jamil, if you want to unmute yourself and provide specifics, if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, maybe Nermeen just provide.
Otherwise, I give you a general answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we have a low credit score, it's exactly what I said. It's either I forgot to make payments, I have delinquency, or I have completed multiple application on my file. So anytime, guys, we do a credit application, it will reduce your credit score. So I'll give you an example. And I've seen it and I know it. How I know it is when, let's say, Ahmed comes and say, Nermeen, I want to apply for your visa for $10,000 limit. So when I do the credit application, when I adjudicate it, I will see in the remark that Ahmed has seen Bank of Montreal, has seen TD Bank, and has seen blah, 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 right? So you've putting multiple credit application with the bank to obtain a revolving credit. That will reduce your credit score significantly. Another reason to reduce your credit score is, so we talked about delinquency, we talked about multiple inquiry. We're going to talk about delinquency. Have you had, late payment on the credit bureau? Other stuff would be, is there garnishment in your account? Is there a court order that has been passed to your credit bureau, either because you owe spousal support, or you have I don't know, you have a small business and there is a law case against you and there is garnishment on file, or you owe money to Revenue Canada. These are garnishment that can negatively impact your credit bureau. So if you have no garnishment and you have no delinquency, and it's just a matter of inquiries that's been put in the account, then you can easily correct that issue. So Credit Bureau, Equifax and TransUnion are the two, company we deal with when we pull credit. They take from 30 to 90 days to update your credit score. So if you have multiple application happening, yes, you're going to see anywhere from 30 to 90 basis point reduction. That's a lot. So you could be 700 and you work up to 610. That's a lot. That can be rectified within 90 days. So within 90 days, things go back to normal. Again, I'm going to say improving credit score, never use over 60% utilization, always make more than the minimum requirement payment, preferably putting an auto payment on system. And number 3 is never miss a payment.
Yeah, thank you so much. He mentioned it was a missed payment, actually. So,
if it's a missed payment, 90 days. Make your payment 3 days before the due date, make more than the minimum payment, and call me in 90 days. Because your credit score will increase significantly.
Oh, awesome. So 90 days is the window for his credit score to bounce back.
Correct.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. That's amazing. Any other follow-up questions, everybody? I know that we're almost 15 minutes above the 30 minutes, but I think, Nermeen, if you're okay to stay a little bit longer, we can maybe give it another 5-10 minutes.
Absolutely. I know, guys, when it comes to banking, there's probably a million questions, like, the product available, what is good? Shall I put RSP, TFSA? What is the home, home buyer plan? What is this? What is that? Which account is best? What mortgage do I go? Variable close? Why not? Tons, like the list goes on. So, yeah, so if you have any question outside of the basic banking, because I know some of us on the podcast could be an advanced client, like, been here in a while, feel free to ask me that question. And if you don't feel free to ask it because we're in a podcast, then call me and then I can take it one-on-one.
I think there is another question. No other questions coming. Are there any information about Muslim credit to finance a house? Is there any things there? Maybe you can spend some.
So I do have clients, investor I actually had an investor last weekend who's okay to pay the down payment, but it's not okay to get the financing just because of the interest. So yeah, they are, I'm not aware of them. I heard of them, never dealt with them, but there are some organizations out there that allow to pay your mortgage interest-free. And I don't know the ins and outs, but yes, they do exist in Canada.
Yeah, I know. I know when I was in the US, there was an organization, I can't remember the name now, but it's a big organization that works in a Muslim Sharia way to help buying houses. Again, I don't have the details, but if somebody's looking for it, maybe I'll fetch it for him or her.
Yes, but
Awesome.
it is absolutely available. Yes.
It's true. Awesome. I don't see any other questions in the chat, and nobody's raising their hand. Is there any final questions, anyone, before we wrap it up here? Awesome. You did a great job, Nermeen. Thank you so much for all the insights, all the wisdom that you shared today. Very lucky to have you with us, and looking forward to your next session. Again, I know that you have some work and some travel. We'll definitely schedule this when you're back, and hopefully share this with the community soon. Do you want to give a final thought here?
Thank you very much for again having me in the podcast today. It's I was hoping to add value. I hope I did, and it's absolute pleasure to be with you on the podcast. And I look forward in working with you in other podcasts that can add value to our community, to our people, to advance them with their financial planning and real estate.
Thank you so much, Nermeen. I really appreciate your time and wisdom today. And thanks everybody for joining and listening. And we'll chat soon. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.